This is Dennis from Guitar Lessons Ithaca with your tip of the week. Today we're going to learn the 2-3 polyrhythm and the 3-2 polyrhythm. And I'm going to tell you why musicians should learn this, 2, how you should learn it, and then 3, how to apply it on the guitar. So let's jump in. First of all, why should musicians learn this? There's a lot of reasons. The basic reason is it opens up your rhythmic versatility. It's a gateway into bigger things. And the 2-3 polyrhythm and 3-2 is the most basic of all polyrhythms. Okay, and so that's why we're starting with that one. Now, syncopation means loosely means playing on the offbeat. So you have 4/4, like 2, 3, 4. We're in D minor, and syncopation is so there were lots of notes. There were notes on the beat, but there were lots of notes off the beat. That's a loose definition of syncopation. It gives you, learning this polyrhythm 2-3 gives you a gateway into other polyrhythms. I actually have an hour-long free video on YouTube. You just do Dennis Wing polyrhythms, and it shows you all the polyrhythms, how to clap any number of rhythms 2 to 8 over any other number of rhythms in your foot 2 to 8. And then the third one is odd meters. If this is a gateway into allowing you to solo or compose or accompany people, play chords in odd meters. It's a gateway into all that. And then the fourth one is groupings. I guess I'll demonstrate that one too. You can group any number of notes in any number of subdivisions. It's complicated. I'm just going to do like a grouping of 6 using eighth notes in 4/4. So eighth notes is 1, 2, 3, and if you play eighth notes 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, and so I just randomly chose 6 as my example to show you what a grouping is. I'm going to play 6 strings of 6 eighth notes at a time, and it creates a polyrhythmic feel. It's a grouping, not a polyrhythm, but these terms are they're related. So here's 4/4. Like 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? And I'm going to give you a grouping of 6 eighth notes. And it has this interesting, extra layer on it. That's groupings. We'll do a whole nother video on groupings. But those are some reasons why to learn this polyrhythm. Now, how are we going to learn this? First, we're going to clap, and then we're going to play guitar. We're going to clap and tap with our foot. Now, I'm going to walk you through each of the steps as we go along. Now, we're going to go to the 3/2 polyrhythm first. What that means is my hands are going to clap 3 times during the time where my foot taps twice. You could also think of the foot as like the basic pulse of the music. Like the basic pulse is 1, 2, 1, 2, and then over that 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So you could think of it as like the hand claps are the accents and the foot is the pulse. So step A, you establish the bass. So 1 and a 2 and a 1 and a 2. So you should basically tap the foot where the X's are and say out loud with me 1 and a 2 and a 1 and a 2 and a 1 and a 2, and your foot should be tapping with the metronome. Right? 1 and a 2 and a 1 and a 2. And we're going to clap where our foot is tapping right now. So the foot and the hand will match. The foot, hand, and the metronome all match at this stage. And 2. Now, step B, the clap is going to be on every subdivision. Like 1 and a 2 and a 1 and a 2 and a 1 and a 2. But my foot is still only tapping with the metronome. 1 and a 2 and a 1 and a 2 and a. And if you want to accent the where the foot is tapping, go ahead and do so. That's why I put those X's in caps. Next step, we're going to change the way we count. Instead of 1 and a 2 and a 1 and a 2, we're going to count as 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3. But notice that the foot is on this X right here. Okay, your foot is on these two big X's, on the 1 and the and of 2. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3. And accent the 1 and the end of 2, like 1 and 2 and 3 and 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 1 and 2. Step D changes the count to 1 and 2 and 3 and 1. I mean, it changes the accents to 1 and 2 and 3 and 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 1 and 2 and 3. 2. So let's go over that again. Step C was 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2. Step D is 1 and 2 and 3 and 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 then step E, you take out the subdivisions and just go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now if you did it right, then your foot should be tapping not only on the first, on your first beat. This should be HF, meaning the hand and the foot both hit this one. And then the foot would tap in between the two hands. Like the resulting rhythm is together, hand, foot, hand. Together, hand, foot, hand. Together, hand, foot, hand. And of course you have 3 hands to 2 foots, or 3 claps to 2 metronomes. So if you didn't follow along with that, practice. Go through the steps as I outlined here. Again, you establish the base, which is 2, and then you fill in with the subdivisions, but you're still accenting the base that you filled in. Then you change the count without changing the accents. Then you change the accents to match the new count, and then you take away the subdivisions and you're left with the new count only. And then you see how the two relate to each other. All right, hope you understood that. We're gonna also do the 2 to 3 polyrhythm. 2 hand claps to 3 foot taps, okay? First, we establish a base in 3, meaning like 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3. And your foot is tapping with the metronome, and your hands are gonna clap that same 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3. And next step, step B, we're going to put these subdivisions in like 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3. And accent the beats that your foot is tapping. Then step C, we're going to change the count to suit the to suit the 2s, which is like 1 and a 2 and a 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 1. And if you continue with the old accents, it's 1 and a 2 and a 1 and a 2 and a 1 and a 2 and a. And then step D is just to accent the numbers only. 1 and a 2 and a 1 and a 2 and a 1 and a 2 and a 1 and a 2. And step C and D are the critical steps because your foot should still be tapping in 3. Let's go back to step C. Your foot should be tapping 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and. But now we're going to switch to D, which is 1 and a 2 and a 1 and a 2 and a 1 and a. So if you're doing it right, your foot and your hand will not match up except for the first beat. 2 and a 1 and a 2 and a 1 and a 2 and a. And then step E will take away the subdivisions. 2 and a 1 and a 2 and a 1 and a 2 and a 1 and a 2. And then the final step, step F, is to think about how they match up with each other. It would go like both foot, hand, foot, 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 together, hand, foot. Okay, so I hope you learned that, and if you didn't, just take some time with it. Especially this last line. If you can do this, if you can do this part without the rest of the math, if you can do both foot, hand, foot, both foot, hand, foot, or in the 3 to 2, it would be both hand, foot, hand, both hand, foot, hand, then you can do it. Now, what does this allow you to all do? Well, giving you some examples. Let's start with the 3-2. When you're in 4-4 and each beat is subdivided into 3, which is common in like a shuffle or a 12/8 feel, depending on how fast it is. In other words, like you're in 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4, and like very common in blues. You can play 3 notes over 2 beats, or 6 notes over the 4 beats. So 2, 3, 4, we got. And then highly recommend you practice an exercise like that. That was 3/2 or 6/4. It goes much deeper than that. If you were doing something at a faster tempo, like and then, so how do you do the 6 over that? Let's go to the 2-3. This would be like if you're in 3-4. So you're in 3 and you want to put 2 evenly spaced notes per bar, like that could be an example, so I'll demonstrate that. Like a floaty quality over it. Those are just some examples of how you might implement all this stuff, but there's a huge world of rhythm waiting to be discovered, and if you think that you might want to discover it more quickly than doing it on your own, and contact me for a free trial. My name is Dennis. You go to guitarlessonsithica.com and you click the button that says claim your free trial, and we'll set one up for you and see if the school is a good fit for you. All right, take it easy.